UK and EU negotiators are to be given extra time to agree a post-Brexit trade deal. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen said although negotiations with British Prime Minister Boris Johnson had been constructive, they're going to continue talks on a free trade agreement beyond today's deadline. Now, if they do reach a deal, it could avert chaos for cross-border commerce in the new year and give businesses the certainty that they're calling for. Now, this is what Ursula von der Leyen had to say earlier.
We both think that it is responsible at this point in time to go the extra mile. We have accordingly mandated our negotiators to continue the talks and to see whether an agreement can be reached, even at this late stage. The negotiations continue here in Brussels.
So a decision has been postponed yet again. Now, as the hours tick on what was meant to be the final day of negotiations, we're going to bring in our correspondents, Marina Strauss in Brussels and Charlotte Chelsom-Pill in London. Welcome to both of you. I'm going to start with Marina in Brussels now. Ursula von der Leyen said that they'll go the extra mile. So it's essentially another extension, Marina.
That's correct. But what is interesting is that what we just heard, Ursula von der Leyen's statement, was also released as a common written statement together with Boris Johnson. And they both said they had a useful conversation on the phone. So there seems to be some light at the end of the tunnel, because they apparently didn't leave in a big fight or something like that. And we hear also from negotiators or from experts in Brussels that negotiators made some inroads. The biggest problem at the moment is the fact that the EU wants the UK to adhere to certain EU standards. If the UK wants to don't have to pay if the UK wants a customs-free trade, and the UK at the moment says they want to be sovereign. That's what they repeat all the time. And why Brexit if we have to keep adhere to European rules? So this is one of the major sticking points at the moment.
Well, I'm going to cross over now to Charlotte in London. How has this latest extension gone down in the UK?
Well, Pablo, another deadline missed today. Of course, there is and has long been fatigue here at these deadlines coming and going. In the words of people that we've spoken to, they just want to see Brexit done now. But there was a degree of optimism after that joint statement that Marina mentioned there was released by Prime Minister Boris Johnson and Ursula von der Leyen from the EU Commission. There were feelings that it looked like a deal could be done. That, of course, eased concerns among many about the prospect of no deal. The rhetoric really had been ramping up over the last couple of days on both sides about the prospect of that being the outcome of the talks. Just a couple of days ago, Prime Minister Boris Johnson saying that it was very, very possible that the likely outcome of these talks would be no deal. Then some hope today, although I have to say that has then been dampened by a statement that Prime Minister Boris Johnson gave just a short time ago. Asked about this possible optimism about a deal, Boris Johnson said, well, if Ursula, meaning Ursula von der Leyen, is optimistic, then that's great. But he pointed out that big differences still remain on both sides, and crucially, he wouldn't be drawn on whether any progress has been made over the last couple of days. Let's take a listen.
We are always happy to talk and to make progress where we can. I do think, as I say, there is a deal to be done if our partners want to do it. But we remain very far apart on these key issues. And you know what they are. The UK can't be locked into the EU's regulatory orbit. And we've obviously got to take back control of our fisheries, 4.5 years after people voted for it. So those are the points. I think that, it's very clear what the UK is talking about.
British Prime Minister Boris Johnson speaking there. Charlotte, clearly huge differences remain. Does Johnson expect to reach a deal?
Well, Michel, as Marina touched on a short time ago, the fact that these talks today, this conversation between Boris Johnson and Ursula von der Leyen hasn't ended in an announcement of a no deal, it is leaving some people with hope. The talks will continue. As for what Boris Johnson thinks about the prospect of a no deal, he said in that statement as well that it would have some clarity and some simplicity if there was a no deal. He stressed that the UK must prepare for that outcome and said that whatever happened, deal or no deal, the UK would prosper.
Charlotte Chelsom-Pill in London and Marina Strauss in Brussels. Thanks for that update.
From January 1st, British drivers on French or Italian roads may be needing some additional pieces of paper: a green insurance card and an international driver's license. And the future of their health coverage in Europe is also still up in the air.
Not so happy holidays for sun-loving Brits in Spain. They'll be thrown in with everyone else and must apply and pay for a long-stay visa if they want to enjoy their holiday homes for more than 90 days. Because from now on, free movement won't be free anymore. Meanwhile, EU citizens hoping to make a life in Britain will be faced with a points-based immigration system and prove their worth to the British state. Bad news for British farmers, desperately looking for help during harvest time. Traffic jams at the borders will simply become a fact of life, because goods entering and leaving the EU will undergo new checks and require lots of new paperwork. So get ready, truckers, for those 7-hour waits. For these fishermen in the north of France, Brexit is bad news. They lose unfettered access to British waters, home to 80% of their catch. That means their livelihood is at risk. But British fishermen should not start rejoicing yet. Most of their catch is sold on the European market. It's all change for bankers and brokers. How much, when and where they'll be allowed to work in the European Union will be totally in Brussels' hands. To avoid nasty surprises, many banks and insurance companies have already established a legal presence somewhere in a European country.